A popular tourist destination is Hawaii's Volcanoes National Park. In 2017, some 2 million people visited the park to see formations caused by the volcano Kilauea and other natural wonders. Kilauea is the epitome of the beautiful yet dangerous power of the Earth. This volcano has erupted almost continuously for the last 35 years, from 1983 to 2018. It's the most active of the 5 volcanoes that form the Big Island of Hawaii. The volcano's 4,090-foot summit long ago collapsed to form a 3-mile-long and 2-mile-wide caldera. At the stunning steaming bluff overlook on the edge of the caldera, groundwater seeps through large cracks in the earth onto hot volcanic rocks and is transformed into steam. On the evening of Wednesday, May 1, 2019, an unnamed soldier who had traveled to the Big Island for training exercises visited the park, presumably to enjoy nature like any other of the tourists. While at Steaming Bluff, he made a questionable decision. It was probably a spur-of-the-moment idea to climb over the protective metal guardrail meant to keep visitors from the edge of the crater, but ultimately it had life-changing implications. Once on the other side of the railing, the man got closer to the bluff edge to get a better view, but the ground began to crumble beneath his feet. He lost his footing and fell from a 300-foot cliff. Thankfully, there was no lava present when the man fell. However, the floor of the caldera was still extremely hot. Temperatures can reach in excess of 2,140 degrees Fahrenheit. So what would happen if you fell into the lake of lava? Well, technically, if you're standing on the edge of a volcano and fall down into the crater, you're falling into a lake of magma, not lava. Magma is molten rock below the crust of the earth. Lava is the magma pushed above the surface, usually through volcanic eruption. Yes, we realize that you won't care what it's called if you happen to fall into a pool of molten rock, but for all intents and purposes, we'll call it lava from here on out. Given lava's high density and resistance to flow, most likely you would splat onto the surface of the lava pit and float rather than sink deep into it. Lava is 2 to 3 times denser than water and the human body. Also, it's extremely viscous. However, the greater height you fall from, the more deeply you would penetrate the lava. Of course, you would die a rapid, painful death. Possibly, you'd simply burst into flames and burn to death. Fresh lava can range from temperatures of 1,300 degrees Fahrenheit to 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit, over 4 times as hot as the broiler settings on most ovens. Cooler lava may run 600 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature of the lava would help determine how quickly you expire. Instantly, the lava would begin to give you full thickness burns. This means your epidermis would quickly break down and begin to disintegrate. Your underlying skin layers would lose all their water and basically turn to jerky. At the same time, your subcutaneous fat would melt and bubble off. Your blood vessels would rupture soon afterwards, causing rapid blood loss. Gradually, you would be fully consumed, including your bones, and melt away into nothing. Or the radiant heat might kill you before you even hit the lava. There's also a chance you might asphyxiate or sear your lungs due to the hot air and gases above the surface of the lake, pass out, go into a coma, and die. Also, hitting a super dense substance at a high speed could crack your head open and shatter your bones. When the man fell into the caldera around 6:30 p.m., a horrified eyewitness notified authorities. A search and rescue operation immediately got underway, with around 25 responders forming small search parties to scour the area. After around 3 hours of searching, at about 9:40 p.m., the rescuers located the man. Miraculously, he had plummeted only 70 feet and landed on a narrow ledge jutting out of the cliff instead of falling to the floor of the crater. He was severely hurt but still alive. Though nightfall and windy conditions made the high-angle rescue challenging, the rescuers were up to the task. They rappelled down the cliffs of the caldera, secured the man onto a Stokes stretcher, and airlifted him out with the help of a military helicopter. He was flown to the Hilo Medical Center in critical condition. The next day, the man was upgraded to stable condition, but had a long road to recovery ahead of him. Now go watch What If We Put a Nuke Inside the Yellowstone Volcano. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.